Happy full moon in Leo, you guys. Rawr. This is a fixed fire moon in the times of Aquarius, both the age and the month of Aquarius. And so with fixed energies, it's like we are trying to work with establishing strong strength and endurance, but we're also working to shed that same sort of strength and endurance in the opposite direction. So what in a positive way is strong and enduring, in a negative way can be stubborn and clinging and unyielding. Sort of like trying to get rid of the last few vanity pounds that just won't let go, kind of thing. So, with every lunation, we are revealing the light and the strengths of each sign as we are shedding and correcting the weaknesses and darker aspects of the sign. So it's like the more that we can transmute the parts of us that are enhanced by the influence, it's like the influence of the moon will magnify those aspects in yourself so that you can kind of take the temperature, see where you're at as far as your personal self-awareness and enlightenment and growth, and where are you in your own personal path of transformation and soul awakening, right? So these moons categorically will trigger and stir certain aspects of your personality so that you can take inventory and see what you're working with. So in those aspects, we're seeing, oh, these are my strengths that I have in common with this sign. And these are aspects that I can enhance, whilst my enhancement of these aspects is going to be a direct result of my looking at my weaknesses in the sign that I have in common with the sign, and ways that I need to actually grow where I'm dark and grow where I have ignorance and dysfunction. So when we really get into the root of the darkness and transmute that, it impacts the growth and the expression of the light of the sign exponentially more than if we just kept trying to focus on our strengths. So when we are, being the spiritual alchemist that we are, it's when we transmute the darkness that reveals that energy. Remember that the law of conservation of matter in physics, in quantum physics, says that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transmuted, right? So if we are dealing with our darkness, we can't get rid of it. We have to change it. There's no way out but through. So that is what we're being asked to do. And the reward of that is that when we break down that energy, we break apart those shells of negativity, that releases that matter, that energy, to be transmuted into something of the light, of positivity, of expanding our fulfillment and revealing more of our potential and our higher nature. So this is the essence of this full moon right now, because Leo is a fire sign, a sign that is symbolized by the lion, the courageous, bold leader, the king, the lion. The sun is the ruling celestial body of Leo. And so the sun is the giver, the sustainer of the light in our solar system. It is representative of the cosmic sun, the Christ, the cosmic son of God, the creator, right? On that grand archetypal and spiritual and cosmically true scale. And so we are revealing the light through a full moon. So the moon and the sun are the masculine and the feminine are joining in this union to reveal like the hearts of man and the heart of almost like the Christ consciousness breaking open in the atmosphere. And so the Aquarian aspect of this season that we're in is all about like revolution of the mind and thought and expansion of genius and ideas and uniqueness and technological advancement. But that can, in the darker aspects of Aquarius, it can be detached and cold and stoic and unyielding and also fixed and inhumane, or just detached and cold. And so it may lack compassion sometimes. But, the good nature of both of those signs combined, the courageousness of Leo, and like when our ego is healthy, it can be used in a positive way, right? When Leo is healthy, it's like the hero that is warm and courageous and wants to shine and put their light out there and be seen and noticed in order to be a charismatic influencer, right? For the good, to be a strong leader and to take up for those who who can't take up for themselves, to fight for those who need help, or to, stand up for the underdog. So that courageous part of Leo, combined with revolution of the mind and ideas and creativity and innovation, is a good combination. It's awakening in us this deeper truth and how we can direct our ideas and our creativity and our genius for the sake of bringing the whole of the human family together and lifting us up, rather than, the division of groups right now fueled by the lust for power and greed and dominance. So all of this is being sort of rattled up to the surface to show us like the real battle between light and dark, and you have to turn down the noise, because everybody is saying that the other is showing, the other one is the corrupt side, and they're revealing the corruption. And it's like, no, the corruption is like displaying itself in full plain sight, turned up so exaggerated that it's almost as if it's not even real. It's hard to comprehend that we're not watching a movie right now, that this is real life happening. And, people are confused, and their emotions and their anger has been weaponized against them. And so, there's a lot of disillusionment going on right now where it's causing a lot of inner turmoil in the individual people, but also because of that in the collective, it's turned up to the max. And so, this is a very uncomfortable moment to be in, but it is a moment where, people's cards are being shown. And people are revealing their true character right now. And we are being tested. Mankind is being tested to see, okay, are you choosing the light? Are you able to, where is your barometer for your conscience? Can you recognize right from wrong, light from dark, unjust from just? Are you capable of really seeing the difference between these anymore, because right now everything is being so exaggerated, not because we all are blind. Many of us, if you're here right now, you probably aren't, but so much of the middle of the population is still asleep. They're still confused. They still don't get it, right? You can understand how people, I keep saying that the energy of this full moon, and I felt it days ago, during the Super Bowl. I didn't watch the Super Bowl, I don't care. My friend actually sent me a message, and he was like, who are you calling to win the Super Bowl? And I was like, I don't even know who's playing, but I kind of tuned in, and I was like, the impression I'm getting through the visuals in my mind, I could see sort of general vague shapes and colors that looked like it would be the logo, but I couldn't see a clear animal. And so I pulled an animal card out of my spirit animal oracle wisdom, one of those decks, and it was a frog, and the frog was talking about cleaning and leaping forward and leaving negativity behind. But I was like, oh, whoever's going to win, it's going to clean house, and they have this color. So I looked up the game, and sure enough, it's the Eagles. So I was like, my impression tells me the Eagles, but I don't even know who's playing. I had to look it up. Sure enough, he bet money and won. And the thing is, I didn't think about it until much later, and I was like, oh, I wonder who won the game. And so that's when I saw, the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar, awesome. I had no idea who was performing. I love Kendrick Lamar. I usually love the halftime show, right? So I just found a clip that was showing the whole thing, And I didn't hear anything about it yet. I didn't hear anybody weighing in. And I was like in tears because I was like, this is such a powerful and important performance. And I was like, and if anybody is smart, as smart as I think, they're going to see it too. And this is going to go down in history as one of the most important performances ever. And now it's what's incredible about it. There's so many layers of meaning in the symbolism and in the references and things that were happening. But what was so important was that normally what is considered just this chance to get to perform, to exalt oneself and one's own career, this sort of peacocky, and I love Kendrick Lamar, I'm a big fan, but you know, I mean, he's a rapper, so he's got to be like that cocky Leo, right? Putting himself out there. I'm awesome, I'm great. One thing I love about rap music is it's not self-defeating and it's not mopey. It's like, I'm so awesome, I'm so great, suck my dick. You know, so you've got that bold confidence and that ego coming out, but this time for the side of good, this time to, you know, for the sake of sharing, for the sake of others. And he knew that he had this big, gigantic platform. All eyes were on him. And this was the most important moment on the most important stage to say something that mattered. And he did. And it was seen by over 100 million people, and it was the shot heard around the world kind of thing. I mean, that resonated and echoed so deeply with so many people. And so, but there were also some people that just didn't understand at all. They didn't get it. But then it sparked some people to want to learn more and understand why. And so, you know, these are the kinds of things that this moon is talking about. It's like you are seeing that everything that you've done has led you to this moment to use every bit and every shred of your genius and your talent and your creativity to tip the scales on the side of light over darkness, to tip the scales towards justice and equality and unity, right? And so this moment is really shining light on everything, and everything is so vivid and intensified right now. So there is, I noticed when I looked at the overview of the month astrologically, there was a lot happening with Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. In the beginning of the month, on February 3rd, Mars squared Chiron. And to me, like, the impression that I got was this is the trigger that activated the wound. The wound activates the reactive behavior. So over the last 6 weeks, we have all individually been in this period, a bookended around Capricorn season of being challenged with old lessons that came back around for us to sort of like retake the test, so to speak, now that we have higher consciousness, now that we're in a different place, now that we've done some growth and some healing. So now that we're going into this next season in the current moment that we're in, after having come out of that, the Mars square Chiron is bringing up, okay, so those lessons that came back around, they were probably playing on a wound that you've been carrying that's probably been rewounded, right? So that wound triggers reactive behavior and your patterns. And so the Mars squaring the wounded healer, Mars is the warrior, right? So where is our wounded healer? Where's the wound making us aggressive? Where are we being triggered in aggression or fear or anger? You know, where are we feeling that we have to be a warrior when we're triggered? And where can we temper that into, you know, more self-control and more awareness and more sovereignty and less affect, you know, consciousness, less reactive behavior? Now, as we started self-reflecting on that, we moved further into the month where on February 7th, the sun sextiled Chiron, bringing about, and that's that Leo, that heart-centered, courage and giving up of one's pride to reveal compassion kind of thing. The sun sextiled Chiron, bringing about a healing that led to maybe a change of heart. Right after we're examining our consciousness and our thoughts, which are the root of, you know, what comes through us, it all starts in the consciousness and the thoughts, and then the thoughts affect our feelings, right? And so on and so forth, and our reactions and our, habits and patterns. So the sun sextiling Chiron gave us kind of a change of heart after a few days after being met with that trigger again, and really thinking about it deeper. What is triggering me? Where is this coming from on a deeper level, going all the way back, as far as I can remember, kind of thing. And then on February 8th, the next day, Mercury sextiled Chiron. So Mercury is thoughts, ideas, our mind. It's the mental realm, right? And so the Mercury sextile to Chiron, the wounded warrior, gave us a change of mind. Started to change our thoughts and our perspective on things. So first we had to see the negative feelings coming up. First we had to be triggered and see our reactive behavior, see what was making us aggressive, right? Lack of control, fear, survivalism, right? It's the lower ego, flesh nature to receive for the self alone at the expense of others, no less, a lot of times. The higher vessel, a vessel that is made like the light of the creator, wants to receive for the sake of sharing, right? So that is the perfected, the healed version of that. So Chiron being the wounded healer, the lesson behind that, or the idea behind that archetype, is that it is the wound that teaches us compassion and understanding and wisdom, and that by that wound we become the helper and healer and teacher for others. So on a personal scale and on a grand global scale, we are all wrestling with this energy and these themes right now. It's really, really, really wild. It's really something. And the Christian, indigenous, and Jewish prophecies are all kind of like coming out right now. And what I always say is that it's like there's an apocalypse at the end of every era, at the age. And even, in the beginning, when we were between the Old Testament and the New Testament, when Jesus started his ministry, the people of the world, of the Israelites, they were expecting and waiting for a Messiah to come and save the world from its suffering. Those were the prophecies being told generation by generation. And so everything in the Bible in the Old Testament is like going through these cycles of difficulty and oppression and wilderness and war and all kinds of things, and exile, and finding what was I getting at? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Shucks. No. I was on to something good too. Shoot. Well, it'll come back if it needs to. Dang it. Oh well. Watched my short today. It might have had to do with that. And watch the last couple of videos. I might have gotten into it then. Okay, so let's do our Celtic cross. And our first card is going to be us in the context of this moment. What was I talking about from the very early stages? Oh yes, so the apocalypse of the age, thank God. So, there have been multiple apocalypses over and over and over again. And so in the Old Testament, by the time we'd gotten to when Jesus finally was born, people had been like, oh my gosh, there's got to be an end to these days of suffering. There's got to be a Messiah that comes and ends all of this pain and death and suffering and brings peace to the world. And so, that's like us in the common, like in the modern times, looking at the book of Revelation and those prophecies and waiting for the return of the Messiah to come save us from what we've gotten ourselves into. And we have these ideas of being suddenly raptured and just like disappearing into thin air, or, having this whole dimension disappear and reappearing somewhere else. But there was a lot of assumptions about what it would be like the first time when the Messiah showed up. And they thought that this Messiah was going to be this like warmonger, like, kind of like military king who's going to like take over the empire and take back, the throne kind of thing, and lead up an army, which wasn't the case at all. It was a revolution of the heart and of the mind and of the spirit. And it was a liberation of the spirit and of the soul that would be relevant and would sustain even through outer conditions. The world, the earth is always going to go through difficulty. That's the nature of the material realm. But within that, we can detach ourselves from the hold that it has over our consciousness and our spirit. And so it'd be completely liberated and free in the next life, the hereafter. But within wherever we are, we have to learn how to draw upon that kingdom where we're at. So even after the crucifixion and resurrection of the Christ at the time, when literally Jesus was here on earth, the people didn't go anywhere. Nothing changed, everything changed, right? The whole of human trajectory was changed forever. Thousands of years later, the Christian movement that started out with just, one person collecting 12 other people at the time has spread out to influence the entire trajectory of the whole world in one way or another. So slowly over time, this has transformed our consciousness, but the Christ has to come back again. And at the time, we were only at a certain level of the ability to be able to resonate at a higher consciousness. But when Christ came, it's like he elevated the ability for mankind to think beyond what they had, to feel beyond what they had, to love beyond what they had. And so now again, we need that energy to come back and be reawakened. But back to that idea of revelations playing out, I don't think it's the end of the world because it wasn't the first time. So to me, I'm assuming that we will have to figure it out here and solve our problems and clean up the messes. But it's going to be another awakening of the soul and of the spirit. And of the heart, and we'll see how it all plays out and shakes out. But I don't think that suddenly we're going to be bailed out of having to deal with planet Earth or other people on it. So who are we in the context of this moment? Time to move on. The situation has no more to give. There's nothing left for you here. Yes. The status quo that things have been in, that the state of things is there's nothing left for us here in this. It's not sustainable. This structure of, power and elitism over others, even just not getting along within our own families. It's just like there's nothing more to gain from it. We're holding ourselves back from the fulfillment that we could be living in now. And so there's nothing more to gain from this. We've been talking about this for the last several years, but trying to hold on to the old timeline is going to cause more and more death, chaos, sickness, and destruction. And if even in your own personal life, if you're holding on to themes from the old timeline that want you to let them go, and you're pulling them with you like tooth and nail, like I'm not letting this go, it's gonna be more and more and more uncomfortable and more chaotic until you release that thing. So you will regret wasting any more time here. There is nothing more to be shared, given, or received here for the highest good. It is time to let go. The situation does not offer you true value that's authentic to you. So interpret that how you will. Think about the first initial thought that you had that came up. This card will be crossing us in this moment. So what is crossing us in this moment? Worth the risk. So there's something that has no more to give that we need to move away from, but it is going to require risk. We are afraid to step out of that status quo, to step out of that comfort zone, but it will be worth the risk. And when we do acts of faith that are for the highest good of all and for the sake of others, not only ourselves, in the name of God and in the name of Jesus, even when it is right, when it's not being misused and manipulated, then we have that support, that power, that protection around us. But you cannot lie to the spirit realm. Your vibration is red, loud, and clear. You cannot hide that. You are naked to the spirit realm. So if you are not in integrity, you can't pretend Like if you're out of alignment, like you can't trick the universe, because it's like trying to tell a thermostat that it's not 72 degrees in the room kind of thing. So it's worth the risk. If your heart is leading you in the right place, if your soul is calling you in a direction, then it is worth the risks that need to be taken. Take the leap, a good gamble. Your vessel is only as strong as your faith. Something to be gained either way. What are you truly afraid of? You will regret not trying. What if everything goes right? All right, well, that's encouraging. The card you're fretting, that just caught my attention. Okay, so what is the subconscious influence that is affecting this situation? Stop obsessing and fretting just came up. Stop obsessing. Okay, it's back. So we'll take that card. So stop obsessing. Don't fret. The thing that is influencing you right now is, like we were just talking about, all these triggers and things that have recently come up. It's causing you to reflexively go into reactive behavior. But remember, that was something that we worked on letting go in the old timeline. So we are now practicing that new muscle memory of pausing. I'm not going to go into reactive behavior. I'm going to let myself calm down and see how I feel in a little while, right? So stop obsessing. And then when you're in a low-level trauma response, one of the trauma responses is to ruminate, is to obsess. Well, if someone or some people or the agenda of, say, just like corporate America trying to make you crave what they want to sell you, if they get you in a state of low-level trauma, being overwhelmed, anytime you're overwhelmed, like that can cause a level of trauma, right? And so they want to trigger these trauma responses of obsessing and ruminating, right? Like, a craving you can't let go of kind of thing. So you are overly focused on something. Your frantic, controlling energy is creating a hairball of knots. Your energy has locked up the situation. So your energy has locked up the situation. Your need is creating resistance. What void does your subconscious believe this will fill? No progress can be made in this state. Surrender, let go, shift your focus onto something happy. So yes, your obsession is like subconsciously influencing you to be reactive in your thoughts and your feelings and your behavior right now. So slow down, don't do anything huge, and try to regulate your mind, heart, and nervous system through prayer and meditation. And I love to be magnetic for their deep imaginings. There are these special meditations that are set to these certain binaural beats that help you regulate your nervous system and then rewrite your neural pathways through your neuroplasticity. And the byproduct of that is that you become magnetic and start manifesting things. It goes on the mystic alchemical theory of breaking down your darkness to reveal your light, your blessing juice, so to speak. So it's like when you break down your darkness, it's like earning spiritual money that goes into your bank account, your spiritual bank account, that then is translated into your manifestations and blessings in your life. So the lesson that we are completing, or from the past, that's kind of like its influence is starting to pass now, it's a lucrative partnership. So a new job or a promising partnership, or combining elements to yield great success. So maybe recently or in the recent past, you've thought about partnering up or collaborating. I've even thought about like having a small group of creatives where we sit in sort of a circle of support and ideas and things. Because many times when you sort of support a group of like-minded individuals that all have good intention for one another, it like magnifies everyone's manifesting. And it's like you're helping someone else getting something, you know, it adds to, like, opens you up to receive also. It's like there's receiving in the giving and giving in the receiving. So maybe there's something like that you might start with that will yield more valuable information. Maybe there's somebody that you recently thought about pairing up with or working with, and maybe just exchanging ideas and stuff might be valuable, just getting in touch with that person. Or maybe, you thought that you were going to have like this super lucrative partnership with someone, and you realized that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And so now that game plan is dissipating, and you're starting to figure out something more specific, right? Like, for example, in this YouTube algorithmic rat race, in the last 3 years, I've been so focused on growing the channel to the specs that I need required to monetize the channel, that I forgot to just focus on ways that I can monetize this channel myself by, creating digital products and things for you guys, and having offers for you, having things that are more in depth, ready to go for you. And so, like, for example, the 2025 prediction series is an entire private playlist that you can purchase from my Stan store, and you will have like a yearly overview of the year and journal questions that go with that, quarterly seasonal readings with journal questions that go with those, and then the monthly readings that are more honed in on the themes and lessons that we're going to be working with throughout those months. And so it's an invaluable resource to have through the year, but it also gives you like some insight into a look of the year in a bird's eye view, so you have sort of context and an outline for what to expect throughout the year, and you can prepare for challenges and opportunities alike. But knowing what to expect braces you for impact. When unexpected things come up for other people, it's like you were already sort of like, oh, I was ready, I saw this coming. So you can go get that in my Stan store. But so that was an example of something that like a coach circled back around in one of my suggested videos to watch, and she was just reminding me of the original plan that I had to grow my email list, so that I could, it wouldn't matter what platform I was on, that I would always have those interested people in the material that wanted to be aware of things that I'm writing or things that I'm releasing. So where you can release all of the creative material that you make, in one place. So I had gotten away from that because it takes time. That newsletter takes like 3 hours usually to curate and put together. And so, it's just reminded me though that is going to be the more valuable pursuit, rather than trying to keep up with the ongoing demands of the algorithm of making this thing and that thing and this piece of thing and this length of thing. And, so maybe there was some, so I departed from the ad. I mean, I'm still trying to monetize the channel, but I departed from the idea that the ad revenue was going to be the big winner, the big payoff, because I need such enormous volume for it to add up to anything significant. And even still, it's just enough to like pay your monthly rent, unless you're one of the mega channels, right? So if you were thinking about like assuming something would be a super lucrative partnership, it may not be in the way that you thought. And so you may have to tweak your plan. People have talked about this on TikTok as well. TikTok paid partnership is not that lucrative of a program, but what is lucrative is having your own products and things to sell to your audience and offers to make for your audience specifically. And so when you can do that in tandem with the content that you're providing people every day, the value that you're bringing, that is actually what's making people profitable and lucrative, not the platform itself. It's the platform offers them the stage to offer, right? And to offer value and to offer more specific monetized value, but you can give that independently on your own. It doesn't have to come through ad revenue or your TikTok shop or something like that. So that's just maybe something specific for you guys, because I know a lot of you are creatives, and just about anything creative these days, it's like you can, the world is your oyster as far as like being able to reach people digitally. So, and that's a way to make evergreen sustainable income that doesn't exhaust you, that's scalable. Because you as a physical person showing up anywhere doing anything, it's not that scalable. You hit a max with your physical time that you have available to you. What's crowning us now? Endings. This is the rattling of desperation of a dying breed, of a dying mindset, of dark energy dwindling into oblivion. People are waking up, and I think that this is happening on individual levels, individually, but it's adding up collectively. And so for you might be coming to an end of a mindset that you had about something, or end of like patterns that you used to be, that used to be your patterns. You're like, I'm not, like, I can't even stomach that behavior or the thought of it anymore. It's like if you used to smoke and then you quit smoking and then you try to like have a cigarette again, you're like, ugh, it's so nasty. You're like, this does not taste good. So right now we are seeing the end of an age, and the like we've said, and just like in eclipse season, if you hold on to what is trying to be released and let go of and fall away, it's like it's going to become more and more ugly and more uncomfortable. And that's what's happening right now on a grand scale, on a global scale. The systems and things that we have bought into and believed, and the lies that we believed, all of it is boiling to the surface. And it is like we're seeing people's true colors. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I marvel at what I'm seeing, these days. But if we didn't see the ugliness of what people are really turning out to be like, we wouldn't have known it was there. And just like when we do our own inner work and we have an awakening, all the memes about like when you have a spiritual awakening, you think it's going to be like sunshine and rainbows, but it's really like crying and snot and struggling and wrestling with like all your like inner child stuff, and it's unpleasant, but you have to look at it in order to deal with it. Like that's like we're having to look at it to deal with it right now. But instead of it just being all on our own, it's like interactive now. Part of me like keeps laughing because I'm thinking of the good old days when Pluto was just transiting Capricorn. And it was just about our own stupid bullshit, like, the good old days of just like working on my own stupid bullshit for myself. But the thing is, when you're truly enlightened and awakened, you go beyond working on your stupid bullshit for yourself, for your own relief. And then you see the bigger picture that you're like, oh my God, I need to work on myself so I'm not adding more suffering and chaos into other people's lives and into the world and making it a worse place. So this is what's ending. We're ending this, every man for himself kind of attitude, and we are coming together. What is just around the corner? Ooh, vibrational resonance. Yes, the mass shift is leaning toward goodness and the light, and I think that that's what we need to keep our mindset on. And once there is a tipping point there, we will be like, it will be a mass sort of difference. So the scales will really tip. It will really make a dent. But it's like the 100th monkey theory, where if you teach a monkey in a troop of monkeys a skill, that monkey can teach the other monkeys. And when 100 of the monkeys in a troop learn that skill, then it's just like all the monkeys just sort of like know it. Sort of like herd immunity when they were wanting like a lot of people to get vaccinated, so that we would build like a collective immunity to these new viruses kind of thing. So vibrational resonance, keep adding to the light. Keep focusing on what is in authentic resonance with your higher self, with your true spirit, right? Not anything that's been corrupted or disrupted by the difficulties and challenges and darkness of this world, but that original light in you, that what came straight from the breath of the Creator. Affinity with, in harmony, in flow. You are embodying the vibrational frequency of that which you desire. You are very magnetic right now. Evaluate your energy. Based on your vibe, what are you attracting more of? All right, so the next card will represent where we are and like how our perspective is affecting us right now. And usually this is like it could be a negative perspective. Better left unsaid. So there are some things, everyone is sensitive, tender, on edge, exaggerated at this moment, for better or worse. And it is very tempting to want to get into tit for tat or make smarmy remarks and be the person that's like, I told you so, or whatever, but we really can't go there, because that is what pushes people apart. It's what continues to be the tit for tat that continues the feud and the fight. And so some things we have to be very mindful about what we should say right now, what's constructive to say, and what we should leave unsaid. And so I love Kabbalah because it gives these proactive steps of confrontation. And for starters, you have to like really tune into what is your own motive for what you're about to say. Are you taking for yourself to glorify your own ego and personality, or is this something that's maybe difficult for you to say but will help the other person? Is this true, and does it have higher truth? Does it resonate with higher truth? And do you have permission to say this to this person, like divine permission to say this to this person? Do they have the capacity to accept what you're going to say, or to even hear or listen? Are they going to be completely closed off? Because if you're throwing words at a completely closed off person, that's just going to lead to chaos, right? So, and then there's the factor of timing to consider. Is this the right time? Is this something that would be more appropriate to bring up at another time? Or would this person be more open to hearing what I have to say in another circumstances or context or another company? So maybe better left unsaid. So what is affecting us now? What about our perspective is affecting us now? Now, there is things that are being called for that need to be said. And so we don't want to be quiet and passive either when the Leo energy is calling us to speak out for the higher good, right? Speak out for, the underdog, right? People who need someone to stand up for them, people who need, help, issues that need to be addressed in the world, climate crises that need to be dealt with. We need to really speak up and speak out about these things when they truly matter, but we have to first take them through filters that make sure that we're speaking in a way that is going to inspire open hearts and can really influence people towards good, rather than create a feeling of defensiveness that close people off and further alienate and antagonize the situation. So we have to be very careful and responsible with how we are using our words. So let's read the card on the front of the card. At risk of a misunderstanding, words falling on deaf ears, this will cost something. Consider if what you want to say is constructive or destructive. You may not have all the facts. Loose lips sink ships. Now, somebody brought up something really, really helpful in a carousel that Chani Nichols, the astrologer, shared on her platform recently on Instagram. And a woman was just saying how exhausting and unproductive it is to fight with people in comments. But what you can do is use that same energy to just call your local representatives and speak to them about the issues that matter to you. And you can do that, get tips on how to do that in a constructive way that actually helps. but you be specific about your issue. You be specific about what you want to see done. Just don't give general complaints. Be specific and maybe have, a offered solution or something like that, an idea, and then ask to be for a response on that person's plans of action or thoughts on the issue or whatever. But that was really helpful, and I think it's true. It's like, don't get exhausted with people in the comments, because this is not how you really change people's hearts and minds. But rather, do put your energy to better use and do something that either goes straight to the source of the issue and go straight to go talk to the manager about it, as in Congress or Senate, or do something constructive that builds a community, or and then challenge yourself to build up people who can't do anything for you in return. Because a lot of people have the mindset right now, and they're telling themselves that as long as I'm like taking care of my community, then I'm doing my part. But like, who is your community? Are you hearing that and thinking that just means that that's your family and all the people who are just like you and go to your clubs and your things? Or are you extending yourself to people who need help, that are outside of your personal circles, who maybe have nothing to give you in return? Maybe we need to challenge ourselves to extend our community and to open our communities beyond our tight-knit, most intimate circles. All right, so outside influence that is affecting us now. Let's see. Pay attention to red flags. Okay, so outside influence affecting us now. Pay attention to red flags. That is quite literal in a way, like literally speaking. But the outside situation affecting us right now is intense, but it's a relationship worth working on. We don't jump ship. We stay and we clean up the mess. We don't give up. We persevere. We are enduring. We are intrepid. We carry on. So when we talk about the sovereignty of our nation, of our Constitution, this is not something that we give up on. We work on this relationship. Our bordering countries, we hope that they can maintain their goodness and their compassion and their patience with us right now. These are relationships worth working on. All the nations of the world, finding peace and harmony. This is relationships worth working on. And so the people around us that we don't get along with, those are relationships worth working on. Right? We need to work on building bridges and mending fences and repairing right now, rather than continuing in adding into the division. And then forgiveness is what is being asked for. This is something that is so peppered and spread throughout communities that it's, it could be, there are issues right now coming up that could divide families. And that's not what we want. And so forgiveness is something that is an issue that is poignant and relevant for each and every person right now. We are all better off forgiving those around us, and learning to love one another, rather than continuing to play into division and writing people off completely. So the more light will be revealed and more real change will happen by sticking it out with the people that are close to us, that we love, but who have hurt us and who we've been disappointed by. And we need to come back together with those people and forgive and work on those relationships, even though it's not always easy and it's not always palatable. But it's something that we're being called to do for the sake of the future of mankind. Okay, hopes and fears. Wow, this will be a doozy, sure. Let's see. Say what you've been needing to say. So on the one hand, we need to be very mindful about what we are saying and very conscious within our words and our speech and our voice. But we need to use our voice in a responsible and a conscious way. And so there may be things that you are being called to say or express yourself in certain ways. And we really have to be true to our spirit right now, and to that inner voice inside that's leading us and that's working through us. You know, when spirit is working in life and in the world, it has to move through people. So if we obey and we do what we're told, then that's when spirit gets to do the work through us. Noah, as in Noah's Ark, was told in his inner being, there is going to be a great flood that wipes out the earth because evil has just overtaken everywhere. And if you want to survive, you need to build this ark. Here are the measurements exactly. The animals that you're going to save, you're going to take one of each, and they're going to come to you. But you need to follow up and actually take action, and you need to save all the different kinds of food there are in a storehouse to keep you. And so Noah, I'm not saying everybody needs to build a bunker. Don't take that this way and start like hoarding ramen. What I'm saying is that when you are moved upon, right, when spirit moves upon you and calls you to say something or do something, you need to obey that, because you might have this the state of the world on your shoulders. Like if Noah had ignored that, he would have been like mankind would be zero, zilch, no people, because all people would have been wiped out. But because, whether you believe this literally or not, because when he followed that command, that divine inspiration, and took that action beyond his logic, beyond his reason, him and his family were able to repopulate and save humankind. Maybe this is figurative, maybe it's literal, you know, we don't know for sure. But say what you've been needing to say. Back to that idea is, if there is a very sure divine prompting in you, follow that, be true to that. Your throat chakra is affected when you're acting out of alignment with your inner truth, as well as speech related. So make sure that you are acting in alignment and in obedience with that inner truth that wants to come through you. All right, and let's see what our final outcome is. What do we have? Oh, don't say anything yet and listen to your intuition. Okay, so this has been very specifically like, don't say anything yet, say what you need to say, don't say anything yet. Like, hold on, what is it? Better left unsaid. Identify what is better left unsaid, the things that you shouldn't say, the kind of things you shouldn't say, kind of things you shouldn't do right now. Realize that you do have something important to say, and that it is important for you to live and speak your truth with authenticity. But right now, there's an issue of timing. So maybe be careful about when you pick your moment and when you pick your battles, but follow that intuition. That intuition will tell you when it's safe to speak up and when it is not. When it is a time where people's hearts will be open and in what ways, and when they will not be. And so you will know where to go, what to say, where to go. Of Course in Miracles says that you will tell me where to go, what to do, what to say, and to whom. All right. So let's get a few tarot cards to sort of round up our message, give some clarification. Spills this. Ooh, 10 of Pentacles, right? What kind of legacy are we leaving for future generations to come? You know, what will we be remembered for when, you know, people look back at this time? You know, what are we creating? What are we adding to the human story? And this also has to do with your family, right? What is your personal legacy within your family? And what are you building in your life? What will be your personal accomplishments and achievements and contribution to mankind? What are you leaving behind? What are you setting yourself up for, you know, restricting the need for instant gratification and instead doing the work and putting in the effort towards the long-term value, right? Again, using the example of the trying to get rich fast on ad money is not going to happen probably, but doing the thing that takes a little bit more work and it takes a little bit more time, but can literally sustain someone in 6 and 7 figure incomes, and it's proven, that's worth the effort. So that is a moment where you have to restrict the desire for instant gratification and instant satisfaction, and to think about what's going to yield long-term value in the end. The Fool. So starting over, new path, new journey, new cycle. This is a fresh take, walking out on a new path and feeling the innocent trust of that of a newborn, knowing that God is with you and that God has your back. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, for thou art with me. All right. So, unencumbered by fears of the past and of our old baggage, we're just moving forward, a new creature. Six of Cups, maybe we're reviving an old talent or a dream that we thought was just dead and gone, or we were about ready to give up on, but maybe we have a resurgence of inspiration now that we have more clarity and insight and an innovation around how we've been pursuing this dream or not been pursuing this dream. Another aspect of Six of Cups is looking back at our history and learning from our history, because history can repeat itself if we're not careful. So learning from our history, learning from our past, both on an individual, personal level and on a collective, global, historical level, right? This is also speaking to this feeling right now of longing for simpler times and nostalgia of the past. And for everyone that is different, right? For everyone that looks like something different. For me, it is like the days in the 80s and like the early 90s when there wasn't all of the technology everywhere, and you had your own little camera and you had your little group of friends, you go to the movies, and the pop culture was what we were concerned with and worried about, and the climate hadn't become what it is, and there were the president was just this dude. He didn't make that big of a difference to people. He wasn't people's Lord and Savior. It was simpler times to me. That's when I think of that. I think of like smells from the movie theater in the summer. Going to see a blockbuster movie and riding your bike, and it reminds me of even my college years weren't that complex yet as far as like the intensity of the world that we live in now. So I kind of feel bad for the kids growing up now and trying to actually find something to look forward to. It's like sometimes things are so bleak that I'm like, what's even left? kind of thing, but I feel it. But you know what? This is a rebirth of beauty and creativity and love and unity, and we are going to heal the planet, and we're going to heal ourselves, we're going to heal one another. All right, one more from this deck. Let's see, we have the Hermit. So going within, doing that inner work so that we can shine that light for others. When we go up the mountain of that consciousness, that path to consciousness and awakening and enlightenment, it is a difficult and cold and isolated journey, but the reward is worth the risk. And that higher consciousness, that deep fulfillment, and that personal relationship with a higher power and with your own soul and spirit, and with that Christ consciousness being the light that is lit in that lamp, that light within, you can bring that back down the mountain to share with the others. This is the return of the hero to the village, bringing back the boon they gained from facing their own darkness, facing their weakness, facing their challengers, right? So this is an important moment where our own healing and growth have an impact on everyone else as well, and we need it more than ever. Let's grab a Lunation card from Moonology Oracle. Ooh. Let's see, what do we have? We've got nothing will come of the situation, void of course moon. Take time to breathe out the disseminating moon. So let go. Like, there is nothing truly sustainable in the side of the darkness. It's not sustainable. It's void of course. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't create or add up to anything. It only breaks down. And so right now, what we're breaking down, we're actually revealing more light, and more goodness is going to come on the other side of it. But we're in that transit moment where we don't see the good happening yet. But this is the letting go. This is the releasing. This is the releasing of what no longer serves. This is the discomfort in a cleanse of like when you drink that juice and it gives you diarrhea. So again, like so much turmoil coming up right now. But I believe when we get to the other side of this, it is going to shake people awake to the point where we don't have the heart to hold prejudices and grudges anymore, hopefully. And I don't know what it's going to take to get us there, but it's scary to think about. All right, let's grab a tarot card from the Angel Wisdom Tarot. What do we have? Ooh, the Chariot. I love it. Forward movement, victory, momentum. We have rewards that come from hard work, successfully balancing many priorities at once, determination and willpower, public recognition. So it's like we have to integrate our spiritual growth with our physical actions and what we're putting our hands to. And so if we can maintain balance and stability and like steady structures and routines and foundations and maintain that, then we'll keep our momentum going. So this is going to take self-discipline and determination and perseverance and temperance and balance, right? So steady on. We need all of us focused and dedicated and devoted to holding on to those reins to stay in that chariot, but we can do it. I believe in us. Let's get a few cards from our mermaid or the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins Manifestation Oracle deck. See, how do we need to direct our energy to reveal our goals and our dreams right now? So much going on in the world. Just wait. Don't be in a hurry. Like you don't have to completely put your plans on hold, but just realize that you're in a moment where you're just not going to get where you want to go immediately, and to just pace yourself and keep showing up every day, doing, the devoted work of dedication, one step at a time, one thing at a time. Even when you just start thinking about one project, you can just get overwhelmed in a spiral of all the things that you need to do surrounding that issue or that project. So take it one piece at a time, one day at a time. Don't be in a hurry to get to your destination, because it's going to be built within every bit of effort that you put in. So it's going to be accumulating over time. So just wait and see, but don't feel like you're in a rush. Don't put added stress on yourself that you don't need to put on yourself. Don't rush into action right now. Bide your time for better results. So again, if fear prompts you to take like a quick kind of impulsive action, like right now, everybody's like, so heightened. All the feelings are so heightened. So don't do anything crazy too quick. Just take your time, be patient, wait, tune in, meditate, and pray. Father healing. Okay, it's funny because in last night's manifestation oracle message, I was getting to this, that a lot of times when we have blocks around our manifestations, it can actually be related to something that seems unrelated to the actual manifestation itself. And I was about to bring up the fact that I was expecting the father healing or mother healing or both cards to come up last night, and they didn't, but they're here today. So healing regarding our relationship with our fathers, the way that we see our fathers, the expectations that we have over our fathers, and separating the archetypal perfection of father from our human father. Allowing our father to be flawed and human, and accepting that father and forgiving that father is going to help a lot. Because when we have a father wound, it affects our self-worth in a way that shows up in ways that we behave. And so many times that equals a non-committal personality, or someone who can't follow through or stay consistent or dependable with themselves and with others. They may not have good discipline. They may not have good structure. They may have shiny object syndrome, where they get distracted by something and keep changing what they're doing and they don't stick with something. Or they might have commitment issues, right? So our father wounds affect how we behave and how we show up, like physically, in our pursuit of things. And then our mother wound affects our like self-worth in a way that affects what we attract, the opportunities that we attract in love and and money, like and work opportunities and in love. It's like, this is what we attract in, because this is a reflection of our worth, because that is our inner realm and our feelings, the mother. Whereas the father is the outer expression, and our masculine energy, the outer, the material, so how we act. All right, time to move on. It's time to let go of the old and worn out so that the new can come in. Again, this is this theme has come up a couple of times within the different cards, but we're letting go of these old toxic world systems that aren't supportive of goodness on our planet and within our human family anymore. We're letting go of these things that no longer serve. And we're also doing that in our personal lives as well, even just noticing like small habits that we can get rid of that will make big differences in our day. Accountability moment. I am still trying to adjust my sleep and wake times. So, but I have noticed that on days that I get up early like I want to, like I expand time like in a magical way, where I can get so much done in that little extra time that I gave for myself. That's what I'm talking about. When you let go of your old, smaller self, like magic is revealed, miracles are revealed. And that can even be in just the way that like God can expand time for you and help you achieve more in that time, because you're not wasting your time anymore, right? So that time is returned to you and multiplied. Okay. Ooh la la. That felt powerful. Waves of prosperity. The new abundance and exciting opportunities wash over you now. Now, whenever there is kind of like upheaval and disruption and change happening in society, even though it can cause losses and pain points in some areas, it also opens up opportunities for change and opportunities for opportunities. So think about when we had the lockdown in COVID. So many people were able to like change to remote jobs, or they found ways to start businesses that were not like location dependent. And they could, provide for themselves and become financially independent. Or they figured out, okay, these are certain products and things that people really need while they're at home right now. So, or people invested wisely in stock that ended up blowing up at the time. So, even though, like when things are in flux, things are getting reshaped and put back together. So be a chaos wizard and take advantage of gathering the rain when the storm happens, and doing something with it. So new abundance and exciting opportunities are washing over you now. And the more that we overcome our shortcomings and our fears, and we follow our hearts and our integrity, and we do the damn thing, then miracles will be revealed for us, right? Act in faith, knowing that the means will be provided. Ooh, okay, so we're getting into our romance reading. This is what we need to know for the next couple of weeks during the wax or the waning phase. This could be the one. So you've already met the romantic partner that you seek. What I always think of when I read this card is you have to become the romantic partner that you seek, right? So whatever we're trying to call in, we need to resonate with that, and we need to become that partner that we want to attract. If we want to attract someone who wants an intimate relationship with us and who respects us and honors us and thinks that we're amazing and great and is supportive and has their shit together, then we need to have an intimate relationship with ourselves, respect ourselves, think that we're great, and have that healthy relationship with self, and also have our shit together in the same way that we want them to, so that we can be the partner that we can give what we hope to receive. So this maybe the person that you've already wanted to meet is you, and you're, hoping to meet someone like yourself. Maybe you've literally already met this person, or maybe this is the person that you have met before in past lives. But who knows? Love may be on the horizon, and it could be someone in your scope that's already near you or you've already interacted with. Okay, maybe there's someone who is near you all the time and you haven't met yet. But you hear those stories where people are like, we worked in the same building for so long and we never met, kind of thing. Okay, forgiving and learning, favorite card. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So whether this be forgiving and healing and learning from your father, forgiving and healing and learning from your past lovers, forgiving and healing and learning, to live amongst people that we have, that we butt heads with in the world. The more that we forgive and learn, the more that we open our heart up to love and to love others. And it starts with that universal agape love, but that can also open us up to better candidates for our romantic attraction as well. So, when you resonate with love, you project love and you attract love. And when you resonate with hate and anger and frustration and prejudice, then you're going to attract that. All right. Woo. What is this? Ooh, true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. So again, keep stewing yourself in love for yourself, in acts of love for yourself, and acts of love for others. Reveal more beauty and love within your home and within your community and beyond your immediate community, right? But really focus on love rather than anything else. What we feed grows. The dragon that we feed will grow. So do we want to feed the dragon of our fear, or do we want to feed the dragon of our love? I had another thought about that. About focusing on what we want more of, about focusing on love, feeding love. Putting your stronger faith in love than fear. So many times we're so quick to believe our fears so much faster than we have faith in the loving thoughts that we have. So we need to start choosing those loving thoughts over those fearful thoughts. But if we emanate love, then love is what we will attract. But maybe we're going to have a true love coming in soon that's going to be the love of a lifetime. And what is this? Separation. So time apart from your lover is on the horizon. So maybe you are separated from this person currently, but they will be coming into your life. Maybe this relationship starts as something that may be long distance, or that you're not necessarily going to be in the same space together at first. For instance, I used to work in film, and so you might be taken on a job that takes you away somewhere for a while. So maybe, the person that you are with, or future you could be with in the future, might have some issue with work that might be taking them away from you, or whatever. But I don't know, I guess just be prepared for that. This card to me is just letting people know that there may be, some physical separation for a while. And that's okay, I guess. Let's get one more card on that. I think that sometimes when people take time apart, it's good because they can think and they can miss one another and they can work on themselves and their own issues. I think it can help to take it slow in the beginning if you're not necessarily too close together, because then it can help you get to know each other over a longer period of time. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. So what I think is happening here is that someone could be entering your life soon on the other side of a spiritual healing that requires you to forgive probably your father And true love can really come, but this person is not in your life yet, but they may be in close proximity, or someone in your peripheral, or somewhere that you're not quite aware of, or someone that you may have met in a past life that's coming back into your life. But either way, I think it's something soon, something that's worth waiting for, not jumping into something just to have something around. I would say, it's this Valentine's Day, so don't just grab a date just to have one kind of thing. Wait for the right thing. And then keep an open mind if there might be a little bit of distance at first, but I think in the end it's going to be worth the risk, worth the effort, and worth waiting for. What is right is definitely always worth waiting for, because being in the wrong relationship is more miserable than just being by yourself. Trust me. Okay, and then let's get some loving motherly advice from Mary, Jesus' mom. What would you tell us, Mary, Mother Mary? Tenderness. The strength card was our card for the short today, and it was about strength through gentleness. Tenderness. I am both gentle and powerful. Power through gentleness was our message for our one card of the day, and I think that is going to be a good motto to go forward for the next couple of weeks, is that there is strength in my gentleness. There is power in my gentleness. I have more influence over someone through tenderness and gentleness and listening to them and understanding. Even as a tarot reader and a coach, and people have sat with me in sessions where I have been I have told them they're reading, but I have found that what is equally sometimes healing for a person is just to feel like they had a chance to talk and be heard and be listened to and understood, or at least have someone attempt to understand where they're coming from. So sometimes that can be really healing too. So just tell yourself, there is power in my gentleness. There is power in my tenderness. Okay, and loving words from Jesus. What's Jesus have to say? I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Pretty poignant verse to pull during this time. Again, in the beginning, God separated the light from the dark. And that is going to be the bookending theme of the end of days. On the last day, God will again separate the light from the dark. And even though it feels like right now we are in a darkness within darkness, Jesus is with us always. The Christ is with us always. The Mashiach, the Messiah, the Savior, that will bring the end of pain and death and suffering in the world, first has to bring the end of pain and death and suffering in your heart, so that you will want to bring less pain and death and suffering to the hearts of others. So Jesus said, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. All right, and that's where we're going to conclude. I hope that this serves you well, you guys. Be sure and download the 2025 prediction series. It will give you an amazing resource for the rest of the year to just check in with and keep context. And that will help you kind of keep your feelings of groundedness and steadiness and not feel so lost in the chaos and confusion. And that is in the description box below, and it is only $10. All right, y'all. See you later. Bye.